Hey everybody, it's me Jess. Just want to come on here and make a video and just kind of give an update and talk about what's been going on because I'm wanting to make more videos again. I am planning on trying to upload more. It's just been kind of difficult because life has been kind of hectic lately. So, as I talked about in my last video, my cat was diagnosed with diabetes on June the 1st, and a week later he became really sick with DKA and fatty liver. Um, Basically what happened was, because this is a condition that can happen even in like people, when you don't have enough insulin in your body kind of starts to break down, and that's what was going on with him, and he almost died from it, and it was really stressful. um, they quoted me $4,000 for his hospitalization, and I could not afford it. I have never had $4,000 at one time. I think the only time I had $4,000 was either the stimulus check that we had a few years ago during COVID, um, or somewhere around that time. But I have not had $4,000 in my bank account in ages. And I was terrified that I was going to have to put him down because I just could not afford it. And thankfully, I found a charity that helps pet owners who can't afford vet care, and they were able to foot half of the bill. I still had to pay for some of it, but they were able to pay for most of it. Um, so we were able to get him in the hospital, and he stayed there for about 3 days, and they, kind of got him back to stability, and he came home on a feeding tube. And it's a tube that they inserted through a hole into his neck, and it goes into his esophagus, and there's a little syringe that you can connect to it, and you're able to feed him through there, and that's what I've been doing. Well, last week it seemed like he was getting much better. He was starting to look like he was feeling better. He was playing with toys. He was eating on his own, and I was really excited. And so we kind of cut back on the feeding tube because it looked like he was starting to eat on his own again. Well, starting maybe like the middle part of last week, um, oh no, I'm sorry. It looked like he was getting better 2 weeks ago, I guess. But last week, he kind of started to not really want much to do with food, and he started to lose weight again. So I took him back to the doctor on July 3rd, the day before 4th of July, and he'd lost about 3 pounds. And um, the doctors want me to start feeding him through the tube again. So we're going to be doing that. But the good news is his liver enzymes are back to normal. So I'm really happy about that because that was really scary. Because when cats don't eat enough, their body starts to dump too much fat into their liver, and they get really sick from it. And that was part of what was going on back when he was hospitalized. And so we did that, and I took him back home, and so we're doing the insulin twice a day again, and I'm going to be doing the feeding tube again. And it's kind of difficult because the way that you do it, there's a little syringe that you fill up with food, and then there's a connector on the end of the tube that you have to twist in. And sometimes when I'm trying to do a feeding, he'll get up and try to walk away, and sometimes the syringe will kind of snap off and it breaks a little plastic connector piece, and that's been happening a lot. And so it's just kind of frustrating, and it's also sucky because sometimes when he just doesn't want to be out here in the living room, he'll go to hide either under the bed or inside the closet, and I can't really get to him. So I've been really stressed because I feel like, his well-being is completely hinging on me, obviously, and it's a really hard place to be in. And um when I was 21 or 20, my mother had cancer, and I was her primary caregiver when she was home in and out from the hospital. And I was also giving her insulin because she was diabetic as well, and making sure she had food and water, and assisting her with the bathroom. And I was on call 24/7 for her, and it was really exhausting and very overwhelming emotionally and physically. And, I was thankful I was able to care for her, but it did wear on me a lot. It was very hard to see my mom suffering and being the only one there to help her because uh, we we couldn't afford to have an in-home care nurse to help me. So it was really difficult to see her in that state. And this is kind of bringing back those feelings because caring for my cat in this way, seeing him in such a fragile state and having his well-being kind of depending on me, it's kind of been bringing back some of those old feelings of the overwhelm, the exhaustion, the helplessness that I felt with my mom. And it's just been really stressful for me. And I been feeling quite overwhelmed. My anxiety's been kind of getting bad again. Um, but I'm really thankful that at least now, for this difficult time that I'm, in right now with him, I'm thankful that I'm starting to go to church again. I'm making friends. I'm getting out of the house, and so that's good because I will tell you right now, I had if he had gotten sick like a few months ago, back when I was really agoraphobic and I could not leave my home, I don't know how I would be faring right now. Like, I really don't know how I would be getting through this if it wasn't for me going out to see people, hanging out with friends and family again, because I don't think I can handle this alone. I really don't. It's been really, really hard. Um, and it's just difficult because, like, it kind of nails in the fact that my cat's not going to be here forever. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that he's not going to live forever, but deep down, it's just one of those things that like you don't really want to think about. I mean, I know that he's 13, but cats can live to 18 to 20. You know, and he just means so much to me. Like, I adopted him back in 2017. Yeah, so I've had him for pretty much almost a whole decade, 9 years, and he has been with me through so much in my life, and he's seen me through so many phases, and milestones and chapters of my life, and he's been there right by my side. And a world without him isn't the world that I want to live in, and the idea of him being gone absolutely crushes me. And it's like I feel like my life has kind of been going through a transition of sorts. Like I feel in a way that changes have been happening in my world that have been needing to happen for a really long time, right? Um, but at the same time, it almost kind of feels like with those good changes that are coming, the old things that I've been holding on to these past few years are starting to fade away, or the chapter on those things are going to come to a close. And I feel like, in a way, my cat kind of embodies that. Like, I feel like when he passes, it's like that chapter of my life ends. And I don't want that chapter to end. It's like, I know this sounds kind of weird and I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but the time that I adopted him was a really good time in my life. I was happy. I felt healthy. I was taking really good care of myself. I had a social life, and hanging out with him and loving him and having him in my world was amazing. And we've been through so much together. And I feel like when he passes, it's like that chapter of my life is going to end. And like I said, a world without Teddy isn't a world that I want to live in. Like, there's still so much that I want to experience with him. Like, I always envisioned moving out of this apartment and moving into a nicer part of town, having him with me. Like, there's so many adventures that I want with him. I want to bring him along with me. And, when I envisioned him growing older, I've always wanted him to pass away peacefully in his sleep of old age. That was the life that I wanted for him. Because he didn't really have a very easy life. Because his previous owner had him for 5 years and they just abandoned him. They took him to the shelter and just dropped him off and left him there because they didn't have enough time for him. And I don't know what their circumstances were, but to me, if I had a pet for 5 years, I could not fathom dropping them off at a shelter and just abandoning them. That would crush me. And the first 2 weeks that I had him, he was so skittish and scared. He hid under my bed for 2 weeks. And I thought to myself, he is never going to come around. And then one afternoon, I was at the edge of the bed, and he came out from under the bed, And he was so scared. He was like on all fours, just kind of crawling out. And I looked at his sweet little face and I said, "You are nothing but a teddy bear." And the name just stuck. And it was just, that was how that we began, you know? And it's like 10 years of friendship with him has been amazing. And I feel like he's truly my soul cat, you know? Like we're so similar in ways. Like he has anxiety too. And I've always tried to be really gentle with him because I know how it feels. And it's like, he has me wrapped around his little finger. Like anything that he wanted, I got for him, you know? Like he loves to eat tuna. So it's like there have been times where I'm like, well, let me go to the grocery store and get you a can. You know, it's like whatever he wants, I'm going to get for him. You know, I have completely spoiled him. And I just want him to be happy and comfortable. But with him being sick, it's kind of coming to mind that, you know, I got to, you know, think, you know, what is best for him. But I just don't know. It's been really difficult for me because, on one hand, I don't think that he's ready to go because he's still trying to recover. Like, he's still playing with toys. He's trying to eat, but he's sick, so he can't. And it's like, I feel like, at least to me, as long as I say that he's trying or that there's still a will to live in him, he's not ready to go. So, for as much as I can, I want to give him the best conditions to possibly heal from this. And hopefully give him a few more years. But as of right now, you know, it's really tough going, and I don't know what's going to happen. But that's an update for what's been going on. Um, as far as the good news that's been going on, I've been getting out more. Like I said, I've been going out to hang out with people. I've been going to church every Sunday. Um, I'm really happy about that. And I've been seeing my dad and my brother more. I've been seeing my sister and her family more. Um, it's been really, really good. So I'm hoping that with time, hopefully with the support that I'm getting now from other people, hopefully it'll kind of help me um, get through this time that I'm going through with my cat. But all things considered, hopefully I'll be making some fun videos soon. I really want to get back into making my dance videos and some more skits. It's just been hard because I've been stressed out from work and of course the thing I've been dealing with my cat. But hopefully I'll be making some new content soon. But with that being said, I hope everyone has a fantastic week and I'll talk to you soon.